freshmen. Thank you so much for joining our course selection live stream. We have our counseling team that's going to present to you today. I'm going to introduce them and then talk about what we're going to go over with you guys today. So for West counselors, we have Mr. Boshin. Mr. Myers is unfortunately not with us today, but he will be the counselor for you, or is the counselor for you if your last name is D-O through J-E. We also have Miss Zaranana. We have Miss Bacigalupo. We have myself, Mrs. Schock. We have Miss Sadler. And then we also have our school counseling intern, Mrs. McLaughlin. For your East counselors, we have Mr. Mankey. And then we also have Mrs. Frederick. So like I said, guys, I'm so happy that you are joining us today. We are going to talk about a lot of really important stuff for course selection. We're going to talk to you about graduation requirements, so all of the things that you need prior to earning that diploma. You're going to talk about sophomore course requirements, so what do you need specifically your sophomore year? We'll talk to you about the new classes that we are going to offer for the 21-22 school year. We'll talk to you about the course selection process and timeline, so exactly what that looks like and what you need to do. And then we'll also talk to you about resources available to you and counselors being offered Zoom options for questions. And speaking of questions, if you have any questions throughout this whole presentation, go ahead and throw it in the chat, and then we can manage those and answer them after we are finished with the presentation. So the first thing that I'm going to talk to you guys about is graduation requirements. So you'll see that you need a full year of English every single year. So that gets you to 4 years of English. You need 3 years of math to graduate, 3 years of science to graduate, 2.5 years of social science, 1 semester of health, and that's taken your sophomore year. You will need then 3.5 years of PE. You need to take driver's ed, whether that's in school or out of school. And you also need to take consumer ed and then 7 elective credits, which gets you to the total of 24 credits. So you'll notice this means if you don't pass a class this year, you will need to recover that and take all of your classes. You'll have to take that class again, in addition to all the classes that you have to take your sophomore year anyway. So we want you to finish this year strong. You need 6 credits in order to become a sophomore next year. So if you are worried about your credit situation, make sure that you email your counselor so that we can start looking at options. I'm going to talk to you about the actual course requirements for sophomores. So you'll see on this presentation all of the options that you might have when you are looking at your courses in Skyward. What I want to point out to you on this specific slide is the what's highlighted in yellow. So world history requirement, you could take AP World History or Revolutions Throughout History. And Revolutions Throughout History is an option for you to take over the summer. So if you take that over the summer, then you have an extra spot in your schedule to fill with an elective. Health, you'll see, is also offered over the summer. And then driver's ed, if you are eligible based on your birthday, you could take that over the summer. And then also you'll want to make sure that any credit recovery. So you've finished first semester. If there is something that you did not end up passing and you want to recover that over the summer, you can talk with your counselor about what options you have in that area. So I think I am passing it on now to Ms. Zaranana.
Hi, freshmen. How are you today? Happy Monday. I'm just going to go over a couple of slides here in relation to your course requirements for next year. In this slide specifically, I'm going to discuss a little bit about health and PE. So every student must have 3 semesters of PE plus 1 semester of health by the end of 10th grade. So those of you who may have taken health last summer will know that you were in PE for the full year this year. Therefore, this coming year, you'll actually get an extra elective spot in your schedule. Also, if you plan on taking health this summer, that same rule applies. So if you take it this summer, you'll also get an extra elective space for next year. So you'll just be in PE that one semester. If you plan on taking health next year, so that basically meaning that you haven't taken it the summer before you came into high school, or you're not planning on taking it this summer, then next year you will take one semester of PE plus your one semester of health. If you have any questions or you're a little bit confused about this, reach out to your counselor and we can kind of check to see if you have taken it over the summer and kind of guide you in the right direction of what PE and how many you need to take for next year. The next slide, I'm going to talk a little bit about a course level change process. This is something new. We did start it last year, so some of you may have remembered this information, or some of you may have just stuck with your classes and never really requested a change. But this year, it's going to be the same process that we're going to follow. So this is when we're talking about course level change, we're really talking about those core level placements. So your core classes, so like your English, your social science, your math, your science, and your fine arts or world language. You all know you've had discussions with your teachers about what your placements are for next year. Once you're able to log into Skyward and submit your elective choices, you'll also see your core placements as well. So for some reason, for example, let's say you were selected or your course request in Skyward lists you as taking English 2 for next year, but instead you're talking with your parents and in talking with your teacher, you really think you'd like to go ahead and take Honors English 2. This is a level change placement, meaning we're changing now levels of the course, right? We're changing rigor. So you're not taking a gen ed course, you're now taking an honors course. So in order to change this placement, it has to go through the divisional of that department. So what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to email your level change request to the divisional, and I'll go over the contacts, so the divisionals in charge of each department here in a minute. And you are going to email that request to the divisional, and you're also gonna include your counselor in that email so we are aware. In the email, make sure to include like what class you want to take and why this is a better fit for you. So for example, hi, Mrs. Namakudis. My name is Stephanie Zaranana. I am currently in English 2. After talking with my parents and with my teacher, we think that it would be beneficial for me to take Honors English 2 next year. I've done really well this second semester at the end of this first semester, and I really want to push myself. After that, the divisional will contact your parents and you with their decision, so they'll either approve or deny that request. That's why you want to include your counselor in the email, because once we get an approval or denial, we can go ahead and then change that core request and change your schedule for next year. To the right is the divisional contacts. So we'll post all this on Schoology for you guys, so you have the emails and everything, but you'll see for English is Mrs. Namakudis, social science is Mr. Sterner, math is Mr. Custodio, science is Mr. Beagle, and then fine arts and world language is Mrs. Bennett. We do have a deadline because we are building schedules for next year, and we have to have enough time to make sure the right classes are being created. You need to submit this request or send your email in regards to your change of placement for next year by February 26th. Okay, so within this next month or so is when, if you for some reason see your core placements and you want to change them, you have to send this request by February 26th. It's also important that this kind of works for the reversal. So for example, if I was placed in Honors English 2, I really struggled right now with Honors English 1, and I'm thinking that I would feel more comfortable taking English 2 for next year, you would still have to email the divisional and your counselor and explain why you want to go from Honors to Gen Ed. I am now going to pass the baton over to Mrs. McLaughlin, who will talk with you about the next couple slides of electives.
Hello, freshmen. We get to talk about elective choices. So this is where you get to be creative. This is the fun side of it. If you remember back from the beginning of this year in English class, when you all did your career papers, you filled out your likes and interests, which then created your career clusters. Your clusters are what you can use to explore with your elective selections. If you are on the path to college, they typically like to see a somewhat structured course progression in a specific pathway. So we suggest selecting electives you have a passion in to start thinking of the future. A lot of the capstone classes lead the way to certain certifications. For example, Warrior Chef, once you have taken the pathway and successfully completed the courses, you would then get a food and handler certificate. So this can help you possibly pursue a career post-secondary option in that field. For review, we have the Career Cluster and Pathway Guide document on this presentation that you can view later. It does have helpful links for eligibility for NCAA, as well as college requirements for admissions, and then it lists the specific pathways and what courses would fall under those pathways. If you don't remember your career clusters, it's absolutely no big deal. You can log into Naviance at any time and view your clusters through there. The clusters are not binding, but choosing a pathway that you have interest or passion in is always a great idea. So I am going to pass it to Miss Bachi Galupa.
Hi, everyone. How are you doing? I am going to talk a little bit about the blended courses. So a lot of you have probably heard of them, but if not, blended learning is the combination of face-to-face instruction that you're used to, and then out-of-class digital activities. So what it looks like is you'll be in class in the traditional format a certain number of days a week, and then you'll have at least one blended day a week. That doesn't mean you don't go to class. That means you're working on a project either individually or with a small group, or meeting with your teacher if you're struggling in that class. What's really exciting about next year is that we have a lot of blended opportunities for our sophomores. In the past, most of our opportunities were for juniors and seniors, and they were very elective heavy. Now we have 52 blended courses total in every single content area, including electives and your core classes. There are 9 classes that are still offered in the traditional format. If you want to learn more about blended learning, there is a video on Schoology that shows what different students have thought about blended and different teachers, so you can learn more about it and make a choice about whether you would like to take a class traditional or blended, but we really encourage you to learn more about it and think about it going into course selection. Now I'm going to pass the baton on to Mrs. Frederick.
Hello, I am going to be talking about new courses for next year. So within our district, we have a bunch of new courses and exciting opportunities for you to take advantage of. So I'm going to touch on the classes that as sophomores you'll be able to take. If you want a bigger description of the courses, you can look on our curriculum guide, which is linked in our Schoology page, and it's on our district website. So one of the new classes is called Stagecraft, and if you are interested in the theater pathway, this is a semester-long class that's going to be looking at behind-the-scenes aspects of theater, such as scene construction, lighting, sound, costume, and makeup design. We have wind ensemble, so if you are a student in band, this might be of interest to you. I would recommend talking to your band teacher. There's an honors option as well. Auditions, I believe, are in April. In PE, we have a couple new PE options for you. There is a swimming basics course, so if you want to learn just the basics, swim strokes, and a way for you to become more comfortable and feeling safe in the water, this is a course you would take before lifeguard training. And as you know, we'll all be over at West Campus with the pool, so you will not have to travel for this course. There's 0 Hour Fitness for Life. So if you want to take Fitness for Life before first period, this is a new option for students. There's Honors Chemistry, which is now going to be the Honors Chemistry Dual Credit Blended course. So what this means is we are offering an Honors Chemistry class that will let you earn credit at both our school and MCC. So it's a great option if you are thinking about the Honors Chemistry pathway, and your science teacher probably would have already mentioned this to you during the course placement process. Broadcast journalism is a new semester-long elective geared towards students who are interested in reporting, interview skills, news writing, and production. AP Comparative Government. This is a new semester-long AP course for sophomore to senior students. So if you are looking to take an AP elective that focuses in on international issues, I highly recommend you check out this class. The next two classes are name changes. So Current Events in a Digital World was previously named Learning in a Digital World, and Psychology in the World Today was previously known as Intro to Psychology. So in case you're looking for Intro to Psychology, we just want you to be aware of the new name. Below is a list of courses that are new for next year, but you cannot take them till you're either a junior or senior, but we just wanted you to be aware while you are four-year planning. All right, at this time, I'm going to pass it over to Ms. Sadler, who's going to talk to you about summer school opportunities.
All right. Hey, freshmen. So summer school, some of you may have already taken summer school last summer and gotten ahead by taking health or issues of the 21st century. So transitioning to sophomore year, we have options also. Summer school registration is now open on Skyward, and it is on our school website on that blue link. Also, the options for freshman to sophomore year are health, revolutions throughout history, culinary 1, culinary 2, Spanish 1, and stagecraft. Health and revolutions throughout history are both required courses for graduation. So if you'd like to get ahead, you can take these over the summer. The other courses, culinary and Spanish and stagecraft, are all electives, but this also gets you ahead by opening up a space for sophomore year where one semester you will be able to take an extra elective. So if you do want to get those completed, you can take more than one. Health and revolutions, both are 3 weeks each. We do have 2 sessions of summer school, one in June and one in July. They are first come, first serve, so please sign up as soon as possible. Registration closes in May, but we cannot guarantee that there will be spots available since these are very highly sought out classes to get ahead. Also, driver's ed is offered in the summer. This is one of your first opportunities to take it in school, and the dates are listed below, July 6th to August 6th. If you are born after April 30th, 2006, you are not able to sign up due to your age. The deadline to sign up for driver's ed is Friday, February 26th. We really want you to pay attention to that date because this is also first come, first serve, so the spots fill up very quickly. Also, credit recovery options will be available as well. So if you do not pass a class this year, we do have options to retake those courses over summer. Please talk to your counselor about what credits you do need to recover and what is the best possible course for you to take. Okay. So next slide is about course selection, some tips and resources. When you're picking courses, we want you to pick courses that you actually need to graduate. We also want you to pick courses that are within the career and cluster exploration that you are interested in. So when you go back to that freshman paper that you wrote this year and you are pretty confident about your decision of a pathway, we want you to focus on picking electives that are within that pathway. It's okay if that changes. We do also want you to pick courses that are based on, if you want to go to college or if there's a training program after high school that you're interested in. We also want you to pick courses that are based on your interests and your passions. If there is something you've always wanted to try, definitely try it while you are in high school because you never know what you will like. And we have so many different types of subjects. So please talk to your counselor as well if you are having any questions about that. Avoid choosing courses based on what your peers are taking. And also avoid choosing classes because you think you know who is teaching it. We never can guarantee who is teaching what, nor can we schedule based on who's teaching what. Sim picks classes just to fill a spot because we want this to be worthwhile to you and your education and also your interests. The resource page we have is on Schoology, courses. You are the class of 2024 That's when you are graduating. That website or that Schoology page also has our district website. We are called Student Services. It has our curriculum guide, which gives in-depth course descriptions. We have also the MCHSA pathways, which are basically the career cluster where you can see what courses fall under each pathway. College admission information is on there. Also, we have our Naviance link on there, which is our college and career platform. That is where you took the quiz this year for your freshman paper. If you don't remember what career cluster you were linked with, once again, you can just re-log in and it should be saved. You can also go through that inventory again and redo it if you do want to see if there's other options for you. Also, good resources are obviously your teachers and your school counselors. So please reach out if you are unsure about courses or electives, and we will happily help you with picking classes. All right, so I'm going to pass on the baton to Mr. Boshin.
Hello, freshmen and family of freshmen. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the logistics. I can't stress enough the importance of the course selection process, but many years we get questions about what happens, after your picks have been entered. And so between the months of March 1st and May 1st, we actually closed down the system so that we can tally all of the course requests and make sure that we can accommodate all of the selections that you made. So we ask that there not be any changes during that time frame. After we open up again, May 1st, after May 1st, basically then we can make changes as long as there's space available in those courses. And so we really want you guys to think about those courses that you're selecting and make sure that you prioritize the classes that you want to take the most. I do also have to remind everyone that there are no AP course drops after June 1st. So again, you want to really think through your selections. So in a couple slides, that's basically what we have left. You'll be, after that, able to enter in your elective requests as long as Skyward is cooperating with us. We've had a couple glitches in the past couple days. If you do need assistance with any of your course selection or you have questions, definitely reach out to the counselors, reach out to any of those resources that Ms. Sadler mentioned. Counselors will be available during office hours, either via Zoom or, all of that information will be posted to Schoology, just so that you have a better understanding of how to access us and when to access us. I do also have to mention that we are requesting that all selections be made by February 7th, and you're going to enter those into Skyward. And so now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Mankey.
Hey everybody, Mr. Mankey here. Got a couple of slides left for you. Try as I multitask. See you in a moment here, Mr. Boshin. So Skyward is where you will enter your course selections. It's the same place that you checked your second semester schedule probably a week or two ago. Again, the username is your student ID number. The password is something you created. There is a friendly forgot password button just in case you can't remember to log in. Again, all the resources that you've heard are on your Schoology course titled 2024 Post-Secondary Resources, including the link to Skyward. There's also a friendly tutorial video there to walk you through exactly what to click once you get into Skyward. As Mr. Boshin mentioned, we have heard that Skyward is acting a little glitchy right now. Great timing on that. We hope to have that resolved in the next day or two. However, for now, certainly explore the electives that are out there. Moving on to my second to last slide. Sometimes it's easier to see as opposed to just try to keep up with all the words that we're throwing at you. Essentially, what you see here are the different, the amount of courses that you'll have for next year. Again, everyone will have an English, a math, a science, some kind of history, PE, health, some electives in there. You do not have to select lunch. We will enter that in for you afterwards. So in total, you're going to have 14 courses entered in Skyward. Some of them will be there already. As was previously mentioned about course placements, your English class recommendation will be there, math, science, and social science as well. Again, if you don't agree with those, you could certainly go back and challenge that through our level change challenge process. But again, just to kind of get an overview as to what a typical sophomore schedule looks like, here you go. So you will have 14 total courses entered in Skyward. Remember, a year-long course counts as 2 of those because you have the first semester of, say, English and the second semester of English. Those count as 2. So you'll have 14 total in there. Plus, we also request that you enter at least 3 backup courses, or alternates is what Skyward calls them. So just in case one of your first choice electives can't work, we want to make sure that you have some alternate electives in there, something that you still have an interest in, something you would still be okay taking if worse came to worse. All right, last slide here. I'm going to start pulling my fellow counselors back onto the screen as we start wrapping things up. If you are watching on YouTube, which most of you probably are, there is that friendly comment section. If you have a question right now, you can simply type that question into the comment section there in YouTube. We can see that. I can see one just popped up, and we can pull those onto the screen. So before I go over to those questions, just a quick reminder, these are the different resources that are available to you. The print resources are in Schoology and the Student Services website. Your people resources, of course, are your friendly neighborhood school counselor, your teachers, and your parents. So let's see what this first question is. It is about driver's education. I'll go ahead and I'm just going to say this one out loud. The presentation says that students can't register born after April 30th, 06. It looks like there might be a discrepancy with something in a different driver's ed location. Rest assured that April 30th, 2006 is the deadline. So if you have a birthday after that, then unfortunately you would have to wait till a later date to take driver's education. If you do desire to take it over the summer and your birth date is on or before April 30th, 2006, then you can certainly sign up. I got another question here from Eilina. I'm going to pull this one onto the screen. So she asked the question, can you change your PE class? For example, if you got put into swimming basics, but you don't want to take that class, can you change it? Let's see. How about Miss Bacigalupo? What would happen if a student ran into this situation with PE classes?
So with PE, it kind of depends if there's room in the other classes. If there's room, we can accommodate a change. If the numbers don't work out with your schedule, then we can't. So we'll do what we can, but no promises.
And again, if one of those classes is recommended and it's already in Skyward, when you log in to go enter your courses, simply contact your counselor. And if it's something like that, we can probably change it here on the front end. Again, if it's a core class like English, math, science, social science, those you would have to go through the level change process, which we have that spelled out for you also in Schoology, in case you wanted to challenge a placement there. So one more time, I will lob out the solicitation for questions in YouTube. So again, if you are unclear about something or if there's something we did not get to, certainly type that question into the comment box there in YouTube. And just like you see here from Alina, we can pull your question onto the screen and address it. Odds are, if you are uncertain about something or if you did not find us clear about something, there are probably others who are feeling the same thing. So I will pause for a moment and see if we get any more questions that pop up. Let's see. Let's see. Ms. Frederick, if you could give one piece of feedback to our students as far as how to approach course selection, what would that be?
Well, I would say just think about what your end goal is for after high school, what you think right now. You still have a long journey, and we know that it could change, and that's okay. It's okay if it changes. We expect that to happen, but try to take classes that you think you might be interested in or you just want to explore, because high school is the best time for you to do some exploration.
Well stated, succinct, and clear. That's feedback we could all live by, Mrs. Frederick.
Perfect.
It looks like we don't have any other questions right now. So as always, students, something comes up and you're not sure about it, especially as it pertains to course selection right now, let your counselor know. Keep your eyes open on email and Schoology, as we'll be posting times where we are available, over the next couple of weeks to help you out. Oh, here is one more question that just rolled in. Vanessa from East Campus writes in. I like to use my game show voice for these. Vanessa writes in, how do we change one of our PE courses to health? There's no option for health to switch it out for PE. How about Mr. Boshin? How does this question look to you? How do we change one of our PE classes for health?
So that would depend on if you've already taken health during the summer. If you haven't already taken health, then I would definitely reach out to your counselor so that we can make that change before the March 1st deadline, because I think it's always easier to make the changes earlier than it is later.
Could not agree with you more there, sir. The earlier we get to those changes, the better. Vanessa, that's a great question. There's always a little bit of confusion with, we call you rising sophomores at this time of the year, as far as health and PE. So basically, by the time sophomore year is done, you should have 3 full semesters of PE and 1 semester of health. So that's the easy math on how to keep up with that. Pause in one more time, see if we get any other questions rolling in from our students on YouTube. Miss Z, what is one piece of feedback you would give our freshmen right now?
I mean, I would like to also maybe jump a little bit on that bandwagon of Mrs. Frederick, but I like your little scrolling message that we have here is to pick with purpose, right? We mention all the time that, you know, as much as you'd love to be in the same classes as your friends and all that kind of stuff, it's important to pick electives and classes that, you know, you really want to explore for your own self. And so if you have any questions on those or you want to learn more about the class, you know, one of the top resources I always suggest to students is talk to the teachers, and we can give you teachers' names of those who have taught that type of class or those that have more information about it, because they're really to actually able to give you more of that in-depth, I guess, explanation or information on the particular curriculum. So that's a good place to start for sure as far as resources and making sure you pick classes with a purpose.
I love that. Go to the content area specialists if you have a question about the content. Couldn't agree more. So I think we're going to be wrapping things up. If you have any other questions, certainly reach out to your counselors. We are here to help. Remember, February 7th is the deadline for when we need those courses entered into Skyward. If you have a question, odds are other people do. Do not feel ashamed to ask. We are here to help. Take care. Have a great rest of your day.